Hello, and a warm welcome to the Ghatna Chakra book video. Let's begin this journey where we will present every topic in a simple, clear, and exam-oriented manner.
Have you ever stopped to think about how a single idea can completely reshape a nation? Well, today, we're diving into a story just like that. It's about how a simple recommendation to empower local village governments in India, what's known as Panchayati Raj, went from just an idea to becoming a permanent, powerful part of the country's constitution. So that's the big question, isn't it? How does that actually happen? We're going to unpack the exact journey an idea takes to go from being just a suggestion to being carved into the highest law of the land. Think of it as a blueprint for how real change happens. And our story really hangs on these two key dates, 1986, which is when the spark of the idea was officially lit, and 1992, when that idea was finally forged into law. These 2 years, they mark the beginning and the end of this incredible transformation. So, let's rewind and start at the beginning with that first date and the groundbreaking idea that really got the ball rolling. Okay, so the main player in this first act is a group called the L.M. Singhvi Committee. Now, for decades, local governments existed, sure, but they often didn't have any real power or money. This committee was tasked with figuring out how to revive them, and they came back with a recommendation that was honestly nothing short of revolutionary. And that brings us to the year 1986. This was a pivotal moment. You see, instead of just suggesting a few small fixes, the committee's report kicked off a chain of events that would fundamentally change the very structure of governance in India, pushing power much, much closer to the people. Now, the wording here is absolutely crucial. This wasn't just another suggestion in some dusty report. The source material tells us this was the first clear recommendation. It was a bold, straight-to-the-point call to action that said, hey, stop treating local government like it's optional. Protect it with the full power of the Constitution itself. So you have this powerful idea, but how do you actually turn it into law? Let's look at how it went from a proposal on paper to real constitutional power. This is the legal powerhouse that made it all happen. The 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act. You can think of this as the vehicle that carried the committee's vision all the way across the finish line and turned it into a concrete reality. And just 6 years later, in 1992, this act became law. It's a pretty powerful reminder that even the most brilliant ideas need time, a whole lot of debate, and some serious political will to make it through the complicated maze of becoming an official law. This right here, it perfectly shows the massive shift that happened. Before 1992, Panchayati Raj was just a recommendation. A good idea, yeah, but one that state governments could totally ignore if they wanted to. After 1992, it became a constitutional mandate, an unbreakable, non-negotiable part of the law of the land. Okay, so what did this new blueprint for governing actually look like? What specifically was added to the Constitution to make all this happen? Well, for starters, we're not talking about a minor edit or some little footnote here. The amendment literally added a whole new chapter to the Constitution, an entire section dedicated exclusively to empowering local self-government. So the amendment really had 3 core parts. First, Part 9 was added. It's like building a brand new wing onto the house of the Constitution, just for local government. Second, Articles 243 to 243.0 were put in. This is the detailed rulebook for how these local bodies have to be set up and how they have to operate. And third, the 11th schedule was created. You can think of this as their official job description, listing out 29 specific powers and responsibilities that were handed over to them. And the official name for this whole new supercharged system? Panchayati Raj institutions. It's simply the formal name for these local self-government bodies, which now have the full weight and protection of the Constitution behind them. So let's zoom out. What's the big takeaway here? Why does this journey from an idea to a law really matter? Let's take a second to really understand the significance of this whole thing. When you really boil it all down, the journey followed 3 clear steps. It all started with one clear, powerful recommendation that directly led to a landmark constitutional amendment. And the result of that was a permanent, unshakable foundation for local governance. And that transformation is what's just so incredible. We've just walked through how something that started as just words in a committee report became a legally binding reality for millions of people. That right there is the amazing power of a single, well-argued idea. And this whole story leaves us with a pretty provocative thought to chew on. What's the next big idea out there? Maybe sitting in some forgotten report right now, just waiting for its moment to completely reshape our laws and our society. Thanks for joining us.